gathering song for the month of June, We Shall Be Known. Please rise in body or in spirit. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society. We're grateful to gather today for a time of inspiration, reflection, and connection. Whether you join us with joy in your heart, weighted with burdens, or searching for meaningful connections, we are glad that you are here. I'm Reverend Diana Smith, the minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a somewhat tall white woman in my late 40s with short, curly white and brown hair, wearing my Pride Progress stole and a very colorful blouse along with my black suit, standing in UUS's pulpit in the front of our sanctuary. It is lovely to see this room and the adjoining Religious Education Commons slowly filling with people on this very wet morning. Through the window walls of our sanctuary, we connect with the natural world around us where it is wet, and that is good because we need it. As we gather, we give thanks for this land and all who have cared for it over the centuries, particularly the Kickapoo, the Iowa, the Sauk, the Meskwaki, and the Oceti-Sakowin nations. As people of many ages, genders, races, sexual orientations, classes, abilities, and health statuses, we know how important it is to come together and work together to create a radically welcoming spiritual community. As Unitarian Universalists, our core value of love, our faith expresses our core value of love through how we agree to be together and to support each other. We're guided by the shared principles, sources, and values of our living religious tradition. And this morning, as we celebrate LGBTQIA plus Pride, we'll celebrate the inherent worth and dignity of every person and our values of transformation and pluralism. If doing something with your hands helps you, we invite you to visit the Soul Work table outside the sanctuary doors to pick up an exploratory guide or coloring sheet or something else to work with. And if you're newer to our congregation, we hope that you'll learn more about us after the service by talking with a greeter, or if you're online, by filling out a visitor form in the show notes. So let us connect with you. And now our call to worship is Living with Pride by Lori Gorga-Slobin, who writes, "We light our chalice flame for those who lived their lives in closets of shame, for those who furtively visited the bars where nobody knew your name, for the Stonewall riot, and the fierce trans women who fought, for the plague, which still takes far too many, too young, too soon. So many gone. So many never lived to see. Out gay kids singing on TV. Out gay people serving in the military. Marriage equality, families formed by intention. We light our chalice flame for all these and for all our siblings of the rainbow, surviving, living life out in the open with pride.
Our opening hymn for this morning is Swimming to the Other Side. Please rise in body or in spirit. We are living neath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced on the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient and receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection will be my crime. In humility I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head and my heart, I am gathering the tools together, preparing my part. All those come before me, band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance on the brink of wisdom, never recognizing we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side.
Hello, I'm Andrew Levitt, worship associate here. UU, using him, her pronouns, wearing some, try to have colorful clothes, but men's clothing is hard to get colorful. It's more accessories. I got some red shoes, purple belt, but main stuff, it's, anyway, yeah. And so today I've got a couple standard parts, and I was really reflecting on how I enjoy doing things that are repetitive and that relaxes me. It kind of gets me into that groove. And as I was saying those things, my friend Kermit came out and said, I've got a story to tell you about Hafiz, who's a mystic. Maybe you've heard of him. And Hafiz one time was sitting, and he fell asleep with his feet pointed toward the God. It was a different religion, so his God. And someone woke him up and said, "What are you doing, Hafiz?" Who is this saintly person, and said, don't point your feet toward the God. And Hafiz said, "Thank you for waking me. Please point my feet to where there is no spirit, where there is no." So this idea that all is sacred. So Kermit was not really invited. Well, Andrew, I was invited because I'm one of the songs at the very end, and so if I'm here, naturally I'm the guest speaker. So here I am. And so I thought about this, Kermit thought about this, and I would like to have Judy is going to come and light our chalice, and Kermit is going to use Kermit voice. And in the spirit of Hafiz, see how your voice can change as we light the sacred words of the chalice and still be sacred. So I invite you to take on whatever that looks like. Judy, could you come up?
Life is a gift for which we are grateful.
To celebrate the wonder and mystery of this great gift.
So let us kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love to God.
Thank you for bearing with me in that brief digression. We also light a candle of justice and healing as a reminder of our interdependence with the earth and the members of the global community, especially the most vulnerable. We light this candle so we may not be numbed by injustice and trauma, but rather find strength, courage, and love as we work together in solidarity for liberation, justice, and healing. Together we create resilience and hope. Today, we light this candle. I was off grid for 4 days, and it was amazing to not hear all the news. And when I came back to hear it again, it was such a weight and sadness that we all kind of face on a daily basis. And the one that struck me was the taking out the things that are guarding the ocean and the pain of our Mother Earth that is there. And so I'm just going to hold silence for that today.
Good morning. I'm used to being over there. That was very strange for a moment. My name is Nick Kaplan. My pronouns are they, them, and I am the grateful director of Lifespan Religious Education. I'm a non-binary human today in a black sweater, and I have my little trans ribbon on from Trans Day of Visibility. This is A Protest or a Party by Reverend Hannah Roberts Villeneuve. People sometimes ask, is pride a protest or a party? And the answer is, yes, of course. And why not? Why not rejoice as we resist, dance as we demand change, celebrate as we create community that delights in all of who we are? So bring all of that with you this morning. Bring your policy demands. Bring your glitter. Bring your Supreme Court broken heart. Bring your rainbow socks. Bring the emptiness you feel for siblings gone too soon. Bring your Gloria Estefan remix. Bring your tender hope for change. Bring your most garish eyeshadow. Bring your spirit tattered and battered by a world that seems insistent on choosing fear and hate. Gather up all these things and bring them here to a place where we don't have to shoulder these burdens or celebrate these joys alone. Come, let us worship together.
I'm on the pulpit mic because I forgot to get the ear mic earlier. But thank you. No, it's fine. I'm good. Reverend Dr. Kimmy Floyd Reich writes, "Beloveds, we were never meant to hide in closets, and we were never to be spoken of in whispered corners by a world filled with others afraid of their own reflections. We are from the flame of Channing's truth, Olympia Brown's relentlessness, in Lou Alcott's defiance of social expectations, and Thoreau's solitude of freedom of solitude. We are here, heirs of a theology that says love is love. The soul is not gendered, that covenants live in hearts, not courtrooms. Laws can be cruel and narrow, but our faith remains wide, widening still more, until every child hears their pronouns in liturgies, and every parent of a trans child hears their entire congregation reflect back, "You are not alone," in the face of their fears. We have always been here, from pulpits to picket lines, from the ancestors you called heretics to our kitchen tables, where we sat with chosen families speaking our truths into becoming real. This world may pass bans, overturn laws, rewrite constitutions, threaten us, but our marriages were holy before they were licensed, and our identities were sacred before we had names. Amen. Thank you. Today, again, and every day, bless those coming out and staying in. Bless the drag. Bless the transitioning. Bless the questioning. Bless the kinfolk. Bless the chosen families. And bless us, because we have faced ourselves, loved ourselves, saw ourselves. And we declare we are beauty and goodness and unicorns, and a bit of rainbow and a lot of heart. We gather now in the wake of their efforts to erase as a sign that we are not so easy to erase, and knowing that we are literally love becoming. We were never meant to hide. We were always meant to blaze. Amen. Pride Month, birthed as it was out of the Stonewall uprising, the Stonewall riots, is a time for us to claim who we are and to remember how important it is to do it in community. It is a time for us to practice becoming and to practice blazing. It is a time to embrace pluralism and transformation alongside and as part of love. And it is time to work for justice and equity. As Reverend Alex Hyder-Winnett says, June is a time to dream of a more wondrous world, to bring more magic into reality. June is for gratitude to each other, to be bold in our loving for our friends, our family, our neighbors, our partners. June is a time to sparkle as beautifully and as uniquely as the stars. And so, we've begun a practice here of offering a glitter blessing, a recognition of the sacred beauty inherent in every person. Glitter has long been a symbol for the LGBTQIA plus movement, of gritty, sparkly hope in the face of prejudice and oppression, of joy and pride in the face of hatred and bigotry. Glitter sparkles because it has many different broken pieces all coming together, changing in every moment as the light changes. This glitter that we share with each other today is a reminder that each of us is beautiful in our sacred imperfection, our ever-changing selves, our glorious plurality. It is also biodegradable, non-toxic, and suspended in simple aloe vera gel, safe for your skin. Yay! And so may this glitter remind you that you are a beloved part of creation, that you are helping care for creation, and that you came from stardust. May it remind you to shine and sparkle each and every day. As Xinghui plays, we're going to invite you to come forward and receive a glitter mark on your forehead, your hand, your cheek. Please tell us which one, as a sign of the mystery of the stars and the fabulousness of who you are, of the fabulousness of your soul. And please also tell us if there is something you particularly would like a blessing for. And if you don't want to appear on camera, either Nick or Andrew is going to be in the back of the sanctuary offering glitter blessings there. And so please come forward and receive your glitter blessing. beloveds, as we come to the end of this ritual, I invite you to look around at all the beautiful, shining faces that surround you. And today, I offer you this blessing. May you receive and reflect love everywhere you go, and know in your deepest heart and in every day that you matter and you belong. May you hold on to hope and your inner sparkle even when discouragement and despair beckon. May the beauty that is you shine out, bright as the stars from which we came and to which we will return. Together, may we make this a place of welcome and healing, of connection and plurality. Together, may we practice compassion and courage, witnessing, celebrating, and supporting each other. Together, may we be the sparkling force of love that our world needs. Amen. Blessed, blessed be. Pete, will you come up and share a reading?
Good morning. This is Queering Me by Vanessa Titang. In her book, Daring Greatly, Brene Brown wrote, "Because truly belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance." End quote. I never perceived myself as queer. Growing up, what little I learned from my elders about being gay was that the term queer was a bad word. It was a hateful word, along with specific other derogatory terms which I dared never to utter. I aimed to do no harm, and thus that word was off limits. And why would I personally ever need to use it? In college, as a philosophy and sociology double major, I studied and grew in classes like Race Matters and Sex and Gender. My learning intertwined with my social, personal, and activist life outside of class. Within this mix, I learned to rethink queer. Reclaiming words from oppressors was something my LGBTQ plus friends were actively doing. Queer, I first felt, was a hard pill to swallow to call myself. Did it even apply to me? A biracial, African-American, disabled, and bisexual woman. There were layers to deconstruct to understand being comfortable with claiming a word steeped in hate. I similarly wavered on reclamation of words geared toward my gender, race, and skin color. It would take time and testing to gauge how queer felt for me. Today, the struggle for LGBTQ plus rights and safe space continues, but it has changed. From the change, I am inspired and motivated. LGBTQ plus identities and lived experiences are not as secretive, at least where I am. There are spaces more available, actively made by queer folks and allies, aiming to make what they too could have used for self and others. With this, younger generations are building upon the work of their predecessors. They proudly move and work to reclaim and create spaces, identity markers, and terms to make inclusion and representation possible. Recognizing more than a rigid gender binary, I now consider myself pansexual. And with that awareness, something clicked for me. Maybe I didn't get queer because I wasn't there yet on my journey of discovery. In community, and coming to know and appreciate others, I learned to know and appreciate myself. Queer challenges the status quo. It dares me to be authentically myself, whether meaning odd or outside the scope of heteronormative sexuality or gender. It fits me. It's empowering to take back this word. I am proudly part of the LGBTQ plus community. I am queer.
This month, really for the entire summer, we're spending time reflecting together on our theme of flourishing together. And we're beginning it in a really beautiful and complex month. A month that truly invites us into a deeper understanding of what flourishing together can mean and look like. We have Pride, which we're celebrating today. In the middle of the month, we'll mark Juneteenth. And almost exactly a month from now, we'll get to Independence Day. What a fascinating combination of things, of holidays that invite us into noticing what it means to flourish together. None of them is easy. All of them has an easy aspect, a beautiful aspect, a celebratory part that is a reason why we mark them. But they also all tell us something. They challenge us, especially in these times where in Iowa, as in other places, we have seen all sorts of legislation, a ban on divisive concepts in classrooms, where we see various kinds of repression and oppression affecting our lives and our loved ones' lives every day. In this time, it's important to notice what flourishing together can mean. And so I'm going to go back a little bit in history and share with you a poem from my dear friend and colleague, Reverend Otto O'Connor, who is a UU minister and an out trans man who is serving a congregation in the Boston area. We met in seminary. He writes, on a holy night in 1969, in an inn also known as a bar, called the Stonewall Inn, a basement which had no running water nor safe fire exits, queer people of many colors and kinds danced together, for it was the only place they were allowed to dance, at least permitted to, by the mafia who ran the inn. In those days, it was common for police to frequent this inn, not to join in the dance, the underground celebration, but to send the dancers home and make arrests. When they would arrive, the lights would go on, the people would be lined up, and then all those in drag, all those who were trans, all those without proper identification, they were arrested and taken into custody. But on this holy night, that early morning of June 28th, the people said, not tonight. As they called to them to line up, the trans women refused to go. And as the police began to beat and arrest them, and as the people spilled out from the bar onto the street, Christopher Street, a crowd grew to watch. And then, as trans women, lesbians, and gay men were getting arrested, a yell came from the crowd, gay power. And as a trans woman was shoved, she shoved back, and the crowd began throwing bottles at the wagon, and suddenly it erupted. For once, the people didn't line up. For once, the people said, no more, we've had enough. It was almost as if, that night, being pulled out of the darkness of the underground at Stonewall Inn. One too many times they said, "I'm ready to be seen." On this holy night, when the power of the oppressed rippled through the streets of New York, when the queer people said, "No more," our world would never be the same. More than 50 years ago, it was illegal to be gay, to be trans, to dance and to love and to celebrate. And now, only 50 years later, Reverend Otto wrote, here we are celebrating at a church, gay and straight together, queer and straight together, trans and cis together, all in this together. And so, as we hear these stories of life and love and defiance and celebration, let us also remember and pay tribute to our movement ancestors, many of them trans women of color who led the first rebellion that night. You see, Pride is a celebration of that anniversary, the anniversary of that riot at the Stonewall Inn in New York City. A holy night. The ways we remember matter. The stories we tell about pride and other oppressions matter. They matter deeply. Reverend Otto wrote that not even a decade ago. And it is so wonderful to read it. It is one of my favorite tellings of the story of Stonewall. And I know for me and probably some others of us out there, it contains a rub. Because even less than a decade after he wrote that, we are seeing so much reversion. One of the news articles that beckoned me into Pride Month this week was about the change in sentiment around same-sex marriage and how it's falling. Acceptance is falling. The ways we remember matter. The stories we tell about pride and other oppressions matter. They matter deeply. And this year, I've been reflecting a lot on history and the cycles of history. The ways that we go through these cycles again and again and again. And we keep growing and we keep changing and we keep being strong and we keep rising and we keep remembering and we keep dancing and we keep celebrating and we keep doing it all. And we keep claiming ourselves. We keep the message of pride. Whether that message is an LGBTQ pride, whether it's in Juneteenth, whether it's in Independence Day, we claim and we decide what it means to celebrate and what it means to flourish together. Because how we remember, the stories we tell, what we say to each other matters. It matters for ourselves, our place in the movement, and our time in history, and how we welcome and include and create community. It matters for whether we do it timidly, tepidly, waiting for people to figure out who we want to be, or radically, large, and loudly. This is another complex year for pride, for our queer community, and particularly for trans and non-binary people who are part of our queer community. It is one that comes within a complex story, a story that isn't a neat one of continually greater inclusion and welcoming, a story that lives twirling and dancing and whirling within a wider story of oppression and resistance. Today's Pride is part of a story that lives as part of the story of intersectional movements of love and justice. It helps to remember that history and that context, especially in hard years like this and in the hard years that are to come. When people who are afraid and angry, who are seeking more power, certainty, and clarity in an uncertain, chaotic, and complex world are choosing to target the queer community, especially trans and non-binary, undocumented, and Black members of our community, and are choosing to try to erase histories of oppression, especially of Black and brown and Indigenous and queer people. The past few years, we've been learning to exercise the truth that in times like these, our faith doesn't retreat. It rises. it blazes, it meets the moment. Even when our name, the name of our faith, is removed from lists of official religions, we rise to meet the moment. We don't disappear, because we don't simply affirm the worth and dignity of every person as a slogan, we live it as a mandate. And so we rise to not only resist oppression, but also to create the world we want and need to live in. A world where all of us can survive and thrive, where all of us are not loved in spite of who we are, but because of all of who we are, in our diversity of identity and experience. Because a movement, a faith, a world does not thrive, does not awaken minds and hearts and hands if it is simply one of resistance. In that story of Stonewall Riot, it wasn't only resistance, it was creation. We awaken hope in ourselves and others when we create and begin to live a vision of what we are moving towards. A diverse, multicultural, beloved community of radical, of abundant, of vibrant welcome. A world where we are living love fully and fiercely. As we do this, it will be crucial for us to individually and collectively be clear about who we are and what our faith represents, how it helps guide us. And so, beloveds, what values are core for you as we move, as we act in this moment? What do they tell you as Unitarian Universalists about how we express love in this moment? Shout it out. What are you hearing? What are you longing to live into the world in this moment? I'd love to hear your voices. I can't get down there. Show up. To be me. To care. To be something about love. No limits. To connect. Oh,
To
and
be
look at Dan.
Can you hear me? Oh, nice. To be free.
Okay, people are going to be shy. Thank you. Sorry? Okay. Well, thank you all. I encourage you to keep thinking about it. It is so crucial to think about this, to try out some words, to notice how our faith is calling us to live, and to experiment with talking about who we are and what our faith represents. Because we need to be able to talk about where we're going and what we're working for, just as we need to talk about the generations of activists and prophets who inspire us. We need to remember in our bones, in our souls, that there is more vibrancy, more beauty, more wonder, more laughter, more trust, more joy, more life when we choose to work together for liberation, when we choose to flourish together. We need to know and share how we live love, how we live our affirmation of the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person. Because that way lies the unwavering hope that does and will sustain us, that will allow us to keep flourishing. So happy Pride. May we celebrate, and as we celebrate, may we know that joy is also a rebellion and that we are creating the world we need. So may it be. Blessed be. Amen.
How we give and what we do with our lives is a reflection of our values. As we discern our abundance flows in different paths, of our lives and communities. Every week, this congregation donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and principles. Cash and non-pledge offerings are shared between our community partner agencies and the UUS, with 75% going to the partners. Our community partner this month is Inside Out Reentry Community, which supports people involved in the criminal legal system in changing from the inside out and educates the public in order to promote healing, restore relationships, and achieve success in the community. As part of this partnership this month, we're also collecting items to fill backpacks for folks who are released from incarceration with almost nothing. You can find information about donating items in the weekly email or join the backpack packing event on June 28th. If you're writing a check in the memo line, please write either pledge to contribute to our annual pledge or offering to support our social justice giving. You can follow the instructions on the screen to give online or via text. Your offerings are a sign of commitment to this congregation, which is completely supported by the generosity of all who join us. As we give and donate, receive this offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts. I don't know if y'all noticed something right there that happened. We have a tradition of the ushers. There's a certain way we do it, and it happened differently this time. And for me, that often, if I did something, I have a history of shame, and if I did something, I would feel so ashamed that I'm not. And so and the reason I'm saying this is because the antidote to shame is blessing. And I just want to share that for me, the giving of that blessing was, I don't know what it was, but it was amazing to be able to bless and to give and why don't we do that in our lives? Why don't we do that why don't we have the opportunity to touch and to say blessings to you in your journey? And it felt so beautiful to be able to do that. I just wanted to share that. That was nice. May what has been shared today help us more fully affirm our connection and live into love and justice. After the service, we gather in the fellowship hall and outside for conversation and community. If you're a newcomer, we hope you'll grab a snack and then sit at any table so folks can join us for some conversation. After today's service, you can make posters and sign up to help at our booths at North Liberty or Iowa City's Pride festivals in the fellowship hall. In the gallery hall, there will be opening of an exhibit of paintings and pastels created by Ludovico D'Angelico. Thank you. Thank you, and I apologize for that. At 11:30, members of the Board of Trustees and search team will hold a Q&A session about the ministerial transition, and at noon, team leads will be meeting in the conference hall.
Our closing hymn for this morning is number 1021, Lean on Me. Please rise in body or in spirit. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear that you can't carry, I'm right up the road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
Please join with me in the words for extinguishing this chalice. We extinguish this flame but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and our minds until we are together again.
As you go out into the world this day and this week, may you go remembering your fabulousness and celebrating the fabulousness of everyone you meet. May you go flourishing together. Go in peace, love, and justice, living love ever more fully and fiercely into this world, and happy Pride.